We're so fortunate to be joined today by Rose Mapendo and Turk Pipkin, so please, without further ado, please help me welcome Turk to the stage.
Thank you, nice job. Thank you, thank you. Wow, we have an unbalanced room. Go around, go around. We must have balance in the world. I'm very honored to be the token male on the program this morning. The one thing the world could use is more token males. I'm used to it though, because I'm actually the only guy in a household full of girls back home. But the big difference is I'm hoping you'll actually listen to me. I'm here today to talk about hope and how to build it. My wife, Christy Pipkin, and I are the founders of the Nobelity Project. Pull up my presenter notes. We're doing this for the first time from an iPad. The Nobelity Project, a nonprofit dedicated to basic rights for children everywhere. We make feature films about global problems and solutions. We have an education program in U.S. schools, and we have partner projects in various parts of the world. Our new film, Building Hope, tells the story of our partnership with a rural Kenyan community to build the area's first high school. The film is firsthand proof that education doesn't have to end after the 8th grade, as it currently does for tens of millions of kids across Africa. The large majority of the kids who are not in high school are girls. It's often difficult to be hopeful about the world. I've just returned from East Africa, and there's some desperately troubling things happening there. The drought in the Horn of Africa has devastated the livelihoods of millions of families in Somalia, eastern Ethiopia, and eastern Kenya. The UN estimates that as many as 750,000 people may perish. In Kenya alone, there are already 400,000 refugees, including many young and teen girls who may spend their entire childhoods in the Dadaab refugee camps. The missions undertaken in Dadaab by Doctors Without Borders, CARE, UNICEF, USAID, and others are clear-cut, they're key, but there are other questions, really vital questions about the underlying causes of this famine. There are causes that are related to overpopulation, to fundamentalist movement in Somalia, to a lack of education, and to an extreme drought that it's almost certainly related to climate change. Kenya, East Africa shares the same climate patterns that we do in Texas. And we have a drought here, as we have had the last few years. They have a drought in Kenya. The problem is they're much more severe in the consequences there. And we often paint the world as one of a conflict of religions or conflict of politics. My friend Wangari Maathai, Wangari first invited me to Kenya, and we celebrate Wangari's life after her recent passing. It was Wangari who helped me to understand that most of the conflicts in the world are actually over-dwindling resources, and that the key to protecting and sharing the world's resources is education. So let's talk about hope. After the Nobelity Project's 5-year partnership in another drought-affected area of Kenya, Mahiga Hope High School is now open and operating as a public school. From preschool through 12th grade, the Mahiga schools now have an enrollment of 700 students with an almost exact 50-50 mix of girls and boys. This is one of the classroom buildings at the high school. And that's a far cry from what I found in Mahiga 5 years ago, a mud floor primary school with no high school opportunities at all. Because the community was a key partner in this project, when I say partner, the work that they did included, as you'll see in this photo, women with babies strapped on their backs, helping us pave roads with stones so that our trucks with building materials could get to the site. Because of that partnership, the local ownership, we were able to build 14 classrooms, science labs, a library, a computer lab, a new kitchen, a dining hall, a new preschool, and the award-winning rainwater court, which I was so excited to talk to Jody Conrad about this morning, a basketball court which collects and purifies the school's drinking water. Every time it rains 2 inches, we get 30,000 liters of pure water for the kids to drink. We built all of those buildings for a total cost of $300,000. That's about what the cost of the scoreboard at my daughter's high school football stadium. That $300,000 has created real opportunity for generations of kids to come in the community of Mahiga, and it's a model that could be replicated at communities across rural Africa. When education opportunities are limited, it is girls who are left behind. Like the global movements for childhood vaccinations, clean water, and the girl effect, the time for universal secondary education is now. The problems of the world will never be solved without every boy and every girl in every nation receiving a rightful education. The Nobility Project is continuing our work in Kenya with a Kenya Schools Fund that's building classrooms, libraries, and water systems at schools across rural Kenya. We have a dozen projects recently finished under construction. We could be building more, and there are many groups like ours that are doing great work in East Africa. So today's a very special day for me. It's a day called Hope. It's now late afternoon, 8-hour time difference, late afternoon in Kenya, and at our most isolated and rural school, the Daba School, in a desert area that's also seeing waves of refugees from Somalia, great things happen today. For years, the kids at Daba have been attending outdoor classrooms like this one. You can see the chalkboard there underneath the tree. Even worse, they've been retrieving drinking water for themselves and their families by climbing 40 feet into the ground in this dangerous hand-dug well and passing the water hand over hand to the surface. And this is so wrong in so many ways. Today, as we speak, is the completion of 2 new stone classrooms. You can see actually 4 new ones in the background there, but 2 being finished today in the background. And even better, today's the installation of a solar panel and a new pumps on a new well, a borehole that's going to mean these kids no longer have to risk their lives to get a simple drink of water. When I talk about universal secondary education, these are the children's I mean. The long-term problems these communities face are not going to be solved by you and me, by ourselves, not even just in partnership with them. They're going to be solved by these kids. And that's all they need is an education, every boy and every girl. You and I, everyone in this room, along with our families, our friends, our churches, our schools, our government, our companies, we have the ability and the love to make that happen. So that's why I'm here today. That's what I mean by the word hope. If you want to help us build a school, I'll be signing DVDs after this session over in the bookstore. I'll also be taking orders for the new book, which comes with our movie, Building Hope. So come and talk to me, and I'll talk to you about hope. But right now, I would like to introduce a really extraordinary woman. Rose Mapendo is the founder of Mapendo New Horizons Foundation. The foundation is helping widows, orphans, and women in danger in the Congo, Rwanda, and Burundi. She's one of CNN's heroes, United Nations Humanitarian of the Year, and she has an incredibly compelling and touching story, an inspiring story. So please welcome Rose Mapendo. Hi. How are you? So, we can see just about everybody. This is great. I'm going to tell you just really briefly a little bit about Rose's story, and then I'm going to let her take it over from there. We're going to have a little conversation about the work that she's doing and some of the things that have happened to her. Rose was a village girl in the Congo. She'd never been to school when she married when she was 16 years old. A few years later with her husband, with their 6 children, they moved to the city so her kids could attend school. But from 1994 to 1998, in the 90s, the genocide in Rwanda spilled over into Congo, and Rose and her 7 children, like many other Tutsi families, were arrested, were sent to what is essentially a death camp. And the Tutsi men were killed, and the children and the women were left to starve in a prison. I don't think Rose knew it at the time, but she was pregnant. And I believe her husband had already been killed. Maybe she didn't know that as well. So I just want to maybe start our conversation with asking Rose in these incredible circumstances how she managed to find strength to survive.
Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for letting me be part of this conference. I really thank you to be among the women who are trying to make a difference. And as a survivor, I'm so happy and encourage you to keep doing more. If I heard very good, all of us, we are fighting for one cause, just to make a difference. And I'm so glad to meet people I never met before. I never met Sandy McCann, and today I think I will meet her. And I thank you for letting me be part of this conference. And question was?
Yeah, well, I wanted to, I know that you were pregnant when you were in prison, and actually, as it turned out, it was a little more complicated, the pregnancy, than you first thought.
When I was arrested, I am a Tutsi tribe. I am from Mulenge. I am a Munyamulenge. When I was arrested, really, it was tough. I didn't know I was pregnant. After my husband, he was killed, 3 days later I found out, because it was 3 days without eat, without drink. And somebody from my neighbor, she brought the food. And when she brought the food, I heard the food smell like strange. And it was a tough situation, because when we was in a death camp, my friend was killed, and floor cement without anything, without vaccination, without anything to put to the floor cement to sleep in. And my body began to peel off, because sometime when I slept in cement, my body stick with the cement. And the children place use the restroom, and the same place we was slept. We was under the guns 24 hours, 7 days a week. We cannot go to use the restroom without the military. They say anyone who can escape. It was a tough situation, because I was resentful, hate God. I said, why he made me Tutsi? And because of that complication, that's why I thought I was going to die. And I asked God to forgive me.
And when your child was born in the prison, you actually turned out you were pregnant with twins, correct?
I didn't know I was pregnant for the twins until the baby, the second one
Until
came.
the second baby arrived. That's incredible.
Because you can never find out you have twins when you never see any doctor. And when I gave birth and it was tough, I was uncomfortable. Sleep, feel without cry for pain, because I was surrounded with 29 children. 2 women was gone, and I was silent, not cry for pain. And I gave birth to the twins. Last one, I feel I touched my stomach when I gave birth to one, and I touched my stomach, there was still something, and I thought it was the last one. I asked my friend to give me water. She refused. She said, you can't have water when the last one is not came. And I said, anyway, I'm going to die. And she was scared. She gave me water, and I drink. When after I drink water, I feel like energy. And when I push, and I see another baby. Wow. I never experienced that. I thought I would have twins.
It's just an incredible story. And after all of that, I want to jump to be able to talk a little about the foundation. You managed to survive this camp, and with your children, you made it to refugee camp in Cameroon and eventually to the U.S. So with you and your large family, what were the challenges for being a refugee in this country, the new arrival in America?
Really, for me, I didn't survive when I went to Cameroon. I think I survived the day I make a decision to forgive my captor. That was the beginning of my energy. Because when I was praying, when I was thought I was going to die, I asked God to forgive me. And in my heart, God said, you cannot forgive me when you don't forgive somebody. And I said, God, how can do that? And because I was the one to die in peace, I made a decision to forgive when I was still pregnant. Because that energy from that moment is the energy even helping me to carry on what I am doing. It's not a mini challenge, it's over. When I was in Cameroon, when I was in death camp, even that, I was a new person. I was not the old Rose who was in death camp in the beginning. Because I was singing a song to stop the voice of negative, to stop thinking, living under the fear, like how the title. I love this title of this conference, because when is fear mean, when is less fear, there is fear. Before I was a fear, my heart was telling me to take my life. Just kill yourself is the only way you can be happy. And I said, how can take my life when my kids are still alive? Moms, really this is a challenge. We have many things to do with our family. Sometimes we say women, we have to be strong. It's not mean just women. It's a part of a family. That's why I was strong. I came to Cameroon. singing the song of encouraging myself to stop the voice of negative. I believe all the moms how we do because our family. And I was a survivor, and God really make amazing. And I give credit to him for what he have done.
Your work with the Mapendo New Horizons Foundation is, I'd like you just to tell us a little bit about the work and how the foundation is striving to support women in the Congo and the neighboring countries, and how women can play a role in being in that work.
I started to work, first of all, with Mapendo International to help the refugee to come since 2004. As I was a travel, I saw the women, is not mean I saw that time, I live it. I live all the kind of violence, just painted that picture. Is the experience. And I want to take the message of forgiveness, peace, and reconciliation to help other women. The reason I say I do that, I found out nobody will change outside without change what is inside. I want people, the women, to change the situation with a positive message. You can never change somebody to be a positive when you're still negative. I want the women to be united, work together. Just, have an opportunity to have an education. Really, I love an education. I never have one. But it's how the women can come together, work together, and forgive one another. Because I realize that nobody will change the past, but we can learn from the past. Even when I share with people my story, nobody will change mine. Whatever I have been there is gone, and nothing I can do about it. But we learn from the past to fix the present, what we are doing. And I realize no one can stop you to do anything except yourself. You can do anything if you want to.
I'm going to let Rose have the last word, but before she does, I just want to say what an honor it's been here to be with you today. But Mapendo New Horizons is the website for the foundation, and there we are. We can see it on the screens. And if you go to the website, you can learn about the really wonderful work that Rose and her brother, actually, who is a doctor, that is part of this foundation. And I just wanted to tell you briefly about what support for the foundation could do. $100 will provide tools and seed for a woman to start her own garden. $250 can allow a woman to have a safe C-section and cover the expenses of a hospitalization of a mother and a child. $500 can help a woman start an income-generating business activity and lead to self-dependence. And $1,000 sponsors vaccinations of 100 children in a rural area. And I look out at all these wonderful, wonderful people and wonderful women in this room today, and when I hear Rose talking about, changing ourselves, that's a great message, but I also know that part of that step would be in many great ways to get engaged with this wonderful foundation. Rose, thank you very much for being here. I know that the violence in the Congo continues. It's very troubling for you, but I think that on the hopeful message, I'd just like to hear maybe any thought that you have about how Africa maybe moves forward in the future.
Oh, thank you. I think change will come through us, through individual. First of all, is a terrible situation what the people they are living in. It's hard to imagine. I've been death camp for 16 months. And I had a baby without diaper for 8 months. No matter I gave birth, but it was a lot challenge. Thinking without any diaper, spend it during the night, during the day, I touch my kids to suck up at the finger. to stop crying at night. And from that is the situation. I am one, but there is thousands of people still live in that situation. Really, I don't speak about me and nobody. I am doing okay, but the other women, we can take their pain away. Sometimes I travel with my organization with the sanitation pad because it's terrible to see a woman in front of men when you are in death without the protection, in front of children. That pain and that fear and that disappointment is beyond your. Is not mean when they took everything away. My tribe, they are fighting a tribe against another tribe. That was making me angry because I never chose to be a Tutsi. Or whoever who you are is not your choice, you should be proud. That is not victim, you can be victim the way God created you. It's still happening in Congo. They are still killing one another when a passenger they are passing, and they took some people, killed them because we are Tutsi. That's why I want to stop that. I really think about the future. If I live in that situation, did I wish my children to live in that? That is the message I want to deliver for women. If this happened to me, do you wish to happen to your child? Can you make a change? Who can make a change? Just yourself. Who can make a change? Just try to find the way. That is not God can come from heaven to change you. You have to believe God. And that message, I took a message through the action. Actually, when you take a message to say unite one another, it's not that is all the fashion. Just try to help them action. Hutu and Tutsi together, we all equal. What does it mean? Tutsi, what does that mean really to be killed? What does it mean to be white? What does it mean to be a black? We came from one person. We should accept one another. Maybe we don't agree to everything, but we have to accept one another, to live in peace. Congo, they are dying, use rape as a weapon. The men revenge. That, they don't understand that language really. The men are the good people. We respected that. Even when I was in death camp, I had a question, if any man have a child or any man have a wife, how can you have women in room, with the guns, without even provided the season to cut the umbilical cord? My friend who is here, I don't know if I will meet you again. God is faithful more than how we can imagine. I cut the umbilical cord of my children, my twins, with the wood and clean place for 8 months. I cut the umbilical cord for the baby, and I took strength from my hair and clean hair. I never have a soap. I never change the clothes. I never have enough food. But God, He protected my kids from the infection. Imagine the strength without lice was everywhere is the job we was doing. That message, the experience. I stood and I said, I see Mom. Nobody can die twice. I will die one. Can we make a difference to take the message of positive? Can both of you, that how you train your kids, this message, women who are in this room, you have to think to make a difference for one person. Even you are here, when I travel, I want one who will take message, one who will support the cause, because those people who have a violence, it's not their choice. It's not their choice. I found most people they don't have thankful is American people. They took everything they have for the granted. But those people, the people they are fighting, seeking for life, who can change the life of one person? Who is your enemy? And that is the message. We can provide the support. Myself, I am building the training center for women, how they can learn how to work, how they can learn to sew machine, how they can learn a skill, how they can learn learn a language, how they can learn to make hair. And that place I can reach them to give them a message. Really, is it the way, is it not a go, speak, have a peace? That's put them together, give it something to use, tell people to go to school how, provide the food, buy one sewing machine, woman can take care for her family. Buy one book, the kids can learn how to draw. Please provide the kids with sport. I travel really like crazy. I took the soccer ball when I went to refugee camp. For 2 seconds, all kids, they are around him. Doesn't matter Tutsi or Hutu. Kids, they need this sport, like every kid. This is how change will come. And thank you for being that.
Thank you, everyone, very much. Let's have a nice round of applause for Rose Mapendo. I think you can understand why we wanted her to be here this morning. Thank you, Rose. You come this way?